since the blog is your work, then you have to travel. You really have to, right?
Yes, I think because,
it's hard, but somebody's got to do it.
That's true.
That's our lot in life.
Yeah.
Meet Palle Bo, a digital nomad from Denmark on an epic journey around the world.
Welcome to a bonus episode of the Radio Vagabond podcast. This is a chat I had with two amazing travelers I met in Berlin recently.
This is the Radio Vagabond podcast.
Hello everyone, my name is Margherita and I'm originally from Milan in Italy, and I'm one half of The Crowded Planet, a nature and adventure travel blog.
And I'm Nick, the other half of The Crowded Planet, originally from Australia, now living in Italy.
But not full time.
No, we're on the road too much.
Margherita and Nick are longtime travelers and lovers of nature, wildlife, and outdoors. They met on a dusty corner of a London food market one November day in 2004. Nick was in the UK on a working holiday visa, and Margherita was fulfilling her dream of living in London to improve her English. They soon found out that they were crazy about traveling, and now traveling is their full-time job. In this episode, we'll dive into how this is possible.
This episode is brought to you in part by Hotels25.com. It's a website that helps you find the best prices on hotels around the world.
Hotels25.com. I met Nick and Margherita at the ITB in Berlin, March 2019. ITB is the world's biggest travel fair, and like Nick and Margherita, I was there to make contacts in the travel industry. Nick takes the photos and Margherita does the writing, and their blog is called The Crowded Planet.
Well, The Crowded Planet, the name came up from, let's say it was a salute to The Lonely Planet.
Or let's say a very famous guidebook.
I think it was
guess which one.
Yes. A very famous guidebook.
10 points for the guess.
Yes.
Anyhow, we were traveling, doing the whole backpacker thing, on a budget, and we're guilty of it too, having the Lonely Planet guide as your Bible. If it's not in the guidebook, it doesn't exist. But didn't take us too long to realize that anywhere that was listed in the guidebook was just overrun with other people with their heads stuck in that guidebook. So we started thinking, well, it's not really Lonely Planet, is it? So we decided to make The Crowded Planet as homage to the situations we'd seen, and then focused on finding alternate sites that are equally as breathtaking, if not better, but there's no one there.
Yeah.
So you get it to yourself.
Having said that, the concept and the first version of the blog was started in 2009. So that was a time when there weren't that many alternatives to the very famous guidebook, because the blogging world, the, let's say, sharing economy is not what it is these days. So people were still very much like looking for information in an analog manner, like rather than like looking for blogs and looking for reviews and things like that. Yeah. So, and this is not like we still very much like appreciate what the Lonely Planet meant for a whole generation of travelers. It's just that we were coming towards the end of the era. And we would see how even like some places, some like business owners, once they got listed, they would stop trying because they were like, okay, now we are cool for the next 10 years. And so we were like, okay, let's see if we can show something different.
How much do you travel?
Well,
too much.
Yeah. Nick always says too much, but then when I go away and he doesn't, he always wants to come with me. He gets big FOMO.
Jealousy level over 9,000.
Yeah. But since the blog is your work, then you have to travel. You really have to, right?
Yes, I think because
it's hard, but somebody's got to do it.
That's true.
That's our lot in life.
Yeah. So normally we do kind of maintain a kind of a base in Italy, and we spend there maybe 3 or 4 months every year, and the rest we are on the go.
We spoke just before. You're a little bit ahead of me when it comes to the UN nation count.
Yes.
And just let me say that somebody's clapping in the background. That's because we're in Berlin. We're at the Berlin Travel Festival, and we try to find a quiet corner. This is as quiet as it gets.
Yes.
Yeah. No, you're at around 83.
Yeah, 83.
Yeah,
probably. Maybe I think I probably have 84 and Nick 83.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to go on a trip alone to even out the score.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm only at an 80, so I'm the rookie, and you can teach me so much.
80's impressive.
Yes.
Yeah. But is that a goal for you? Are you trying to do all the countries in the world or something like that?
I would like to say no, but in a way, I do want to.
Yeah, at least when you're getting closer to 100, you want to
100,
cross that mark.
I definitely want to get to 100. Also because, like, for example, San Marino, which, it's like a small state completely surrounded by Italy, which is only like 3.5 hours from where we...
You've never been there?
Never been.
No.
Never been.
I was there in the 80s.
Okay.
And actually, not that long ago, I did Andorra.
Okay.
So
another one that I've never
in
been.
mainland Europe, I'm only need to go to Liechtenstein, and I think I'll do that in a month's time when I'm that close. So yeah.
I see. So you'll be almost catching up with us.
Aha!
Yes. Yeah. No, we've got many, but we're missing many countries in Europe. We've never been to Cyprus.
No, me neither.
Belarus.
I've been there.
You've been there. Is it nice?
It's so surprisingly good.
Okay.
I really, really liked Minsk.
Yeah. And another one we've never been to is Albania.
I was there just before, just to say that was the other country last year that surprised me so much in a positive way. Albania is amazing too.
Okay, that's interesting.
It's funny, you often hear people saying, about these countries that are less visited, that they are so surprised at how awesome they are.
I think it was because my expectations were so low.
Exactly.
I did not expect anything. I was in Athens, and I wanted to get up to Croatia, Montenegro, and Bosnia, and all that. And and since I want to visit countries, I went to Albania. I didn't expect anything. I thought, it's just going to be another dirty big city, Tirana, and then. My God, it was wonderful. And the same for Minsk. And then on the other hand, I had very high expectations of Croatia, and that was wonderful, that was beautiful. But it was like, yeah.
What season was it?
It was in the summer.
In the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Croatia is just too crazy in the summer. It's just too busy.
Yeah.
I think October, November is a good time to go, or otherwise even the winter. We went there once in the winter, and it was fun.
Yeah.
Summer is too busy.
Yeah, Dubrovnik especially.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't go to Dubrovnik.
Okay.
I mean, it's a beautiful city, but we've been mostly in the winter or the shoulder period, so it's not that bad. But the stories you hear about the summertime, it's the crowds are atrocious.
Yeah. Way too busy. Because you've got the cruise tourists coming by. Yeah.
Yeah, and the whole Game of Thrones thing is...
Exactly, yeah. Have you had any experiences anywhere in the world where you didn't expect anything and then it turned out to be much nicer?
Yes, we have had. I think every year we kind of play a game when we say what the biggest surprise of the year was. Last year it was Latvia.
Yeah, without doubt.
Latvia, because we visited Latvia in October. And we were just surprised by how amazing the autumn colors were. And you know how in the...
Did you see some storks?
Storks? Did we?
No.
Because they're so rare in Denmark. And then I took a detour because the road was closed and got onto a dirt road. And there was 20 storks all over the place. I was like, wow.
That's
what
crazy.
happens when you go somewhere you don't expect to go.
Exactly. And so Latvia was one this year because, we were thinking like, how in the States people spend like thousands of dollars to go to like Massachusetts and like New England to see the autumn foliage and like the color displays. In Latvia there was no one. It wasn't like the locals know that it's they get beautiful beautiful scenery with all the trees turning colorful, and so they do go, but there's no one else. Like, it should really become a tourist attraction. But yeah, so far it's no. And then another place that surprised us, that was last year, it was Jersey.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, see, they're clapping because...
They agree.
Jersey is
We
so
concur.
yes.
For Jersey.
Yeah.
What was special about Jersey?
I can't put a finger on a specific point, but it was one of those places that the second you step off the plane, sorry, it's like, I love this place. You know, I don't know, the air was good.
It's very small.
It's a small place, yeah.
It's very rural, like very quaint, pretty, because it's a tax haven. So of course people there are quite well off.
And we're not talking Jersey, south of New York. We are talking the
Channel Island.
In the English Channel.
Yeah. And another thing that like surprised me is how the tides over there are really dramatic. That the island, when it's low tide, actually doubles in size.
Oh.
Because it's only, I think it was 15 kilometers across and 9 like from top to bottom.
Yeah.
But because the tides are like kilometers, so they just make everything so much bigger. And you can take walks in the intertidal area, and it's just an ecosystem that I've never seen.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
Because we go diving a lot
Yes.
too. So it was amazing to go and see these things that we've seen whilst diving, but wearing our normal shoes, and we had to wear Wellingtons because it was a bit wet. But,
Yes.
But without all the scuba gear and just getting up close to the rocks and what's growing on them, and it was amazing.
Wow, I need to go there. What made you decide to go to Jersey?
I think it was around WTM time, so another conference like this.
In November.
Yes.
Yeah. And the tourist office of Jersey got in touch with us and said, do you want to come to Jersey? And we said, why not?
Yeah, why not?
So and it fit in well with the WTM time, so we went there first, so and then just a few days on Jersey, I think a week maybe it was.
Yeah.
When Nick mentions WTM, he's talking about the World Travel Market in London. Like ITB here in Berlin, WTM is a huge market for the travel industry and a great place for travel influencers like us to make connections with destinations and brands in the travel industry. That's also why I went to London and why I'm here in Berlin. It's not all travel influencers, bloggers, YouTubers, and podcasters that are able to make a full-time job out of it. In that respect, I have a lot to learn from Nick and Margarita. So I asked them how they work.
Really, there are various ways for us to make money, and of course I always think like the more you have, the better it is, because if there's something about this business, it's very volatile. It's hard to keep an income stream going for a long time because everything changes and it's very hard to keep on top of everything. So, for example, like talking about us, we make a living with a mixture of affiliate marketing through the blog. That means that we have some links to like some partners, which could be an accommodation partner or a tour operator. And every time somebody makes a booking through that link, we receive a commission. And that doesn't cost anything extra to the traveler. This is just something that, the provider pays us because we've sent them some business. So that's one way.
How big a percentage of your income is that?
That's probably, I would say, probably about 30%.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
What Margarita's talking about here with affiliate marketing is a bit like I do here on the Radio Vagabond with Hotels25.com. You see, it doesn't cost you extra. On the contrary, you can save money. But every time you book a hotel, hostel, or a guest house through Hotels25.com, I get a small commission. So if you want to support the work I put into producing these podcasts, please do use Hotels25.com. But seriously, do it for you. Don't do it for me. It will save you time and money, so why not do it? Did you see how seamlessly I managed to plug Hotels25.com right here. Back to Margarita on how they make their money.
Then we're having, we have also some display advertising. So that's advertising that, we work with a advertising partner that I don't know exactly how it works. So
Magic.
Yeah. Basically, they take care of it for us, and of course, they take a percentage.
What company is that you work with?
It's Mediavine.
Yeah.
Mediavine. Yeah. It's a good one. Because we never really had display advertising before, but it's...
But is this something that clutters your blog with a lot of banners and stuff?
There is some. We don't have a high setting. We put it on the low setting because the money, the money is good because so far it's safe. That's really money that the same as affiliate marketing. But of course, the affiliate marketing is also seasonal. But it's what's called the passive income, the one that everybody dreams of. You don't have to do anything. But in that case, it really is like that. Of course, it's related to your views.
Yeah.
So the more views you get, the better it is. And then besides that, that's strictly related to the blog and passive. We work with tourism boards on promotional campaigns, and so we get invited sometimes. Other times we come up with a project to promote a specific product in that country or in that region. And
is it typically you who's approaching them or them who's finding you?
It's
about 50-50 split. Yeah. Then it's also possible that sometimes maybe we work with them and then we come back with another idea. We work with them because they invited us, but then we come up with another idea and maybe have another project later on.
A lot of influencers will do a lot of work and give away the influence they have for a free trip. I spoke to Mike Huxley from The Bemused Backpacker about this in episode 79. Here's a clip of what Mike said.
It's about stop seeing it as getting a free trip. Nothing is ever free, because the money that tourism boards spend to bring a blogger out, but what bloggers give them in return, social media, the posts that they give them, video, that is worth a lot of money as well. So it's not about earning a salary. It's about knowing your worth as a blogger, knowing your product's worth, and then saying to brands and DMOs, okay, this is a product, this is a service that I can give you. If you want me to come out and market your brand, your product, your destination, whatever it is, then you will pay me the rate that is worth to do that. And I think there's a huge reluctance for some reason in the blogging world to do that. They're sort of scared of it. It's like money is a dirty word or something. It's like, why shouldn't I expect the products and services and the work that I do to be worth something? Because it is.
And Nick and Margarita agrees with Mike Huxley.
Yeah, we also accept free trips if it's something that we really want to do.
And also if it's a brand or a tourist board that we believe in but we haven't worked with before, just to see if it's a right fit. Because, we might not like the way that they work, they might like the way that we work. So a partnership would never grow out of that. Yeah. So it's sort of a try before you buy deal.
Exactly, yeah. If we see that there's potential for a long-running relationship, we don't mind if the first time they want to see okay, let's just see if it works. Mm-hmm. It's a very interesting question. And I would like to remind everyone that getting paid by a destination to go on a trip is not the only way to make money from that trip. Because, for example, if I see a potential in a destination, so I see that there are interesting keywords that would make my articles grow on Google, climb to the first page really quickly and relatively easily, I'm happy to go without pay. Because I know I'm going to make money with hotel affiliates, with tour affiliates, with, other ways, let's say. And another way, for example, we just recently went to Mexico and Canada. And that was just our holiday that we went on. We were not sponsored, we were not paid. We paid our way. And just recently we got approached by an app to write some content for them about these countries. And, we made some good money. if we hadn't been to these countries, we wouldn't have had the content,
Yeah.
we wouldn't have had the possibility to write about them. So, it's always, of course, it's like we also say no to unpaid trips, like very often, but I think it's, it's just, I don't necessarily have to get paid by the tourist board to, get something out of that trip. That's what, for me, it's a very important message.
In the big picture, it just helps that we talk about it and
Exactly.
make people think. That's why I'm bringing it up, because I'm not saying that it's right or wrong. And if somebody offers me something that I would like to do, I wouldn't say I'll do it, but I have to get paid as well. If it's because I also see. It would save me money, so and I want to go
If
there
it's somewhere you
anyway.
wanna go.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, whenever I see these conversations of Facebook, people going on and on and on about, you shouldn't go if you're not paid. I'm like, honestly, if they offered you a trip to Antarctica, would you really say no? Like, would you honestly really say no? Oh, no, I'm not going.
I have my principles.
No. And he's like, no, but Antarctica is different. And I was like, well, every one of us has their own Antarctica. So who am I to say, Tuscany can be a dream destination for many people. We don't care. Lake Como is a beautiful destination for many people. We don't care.
You want to go to Milan?
Yeah, I mean, okay, that's...
And I can take anything you can throw at me, and nothing can get me down. Life is looking so bright, the sun is up again. I'm feeling like I could fly. No clouds in my way, no. And I'm living the good life. And I'm living the good life now. I'm living the good life. And nothing can get me down, no.
Before we continue, I just want to say a deep, heartfelt thank you to the people who wrote a review in iTunes or your podcast app. This means so much to me. Thank you.
Lifted up on your shoulders, I can see the whole world. There's nothing that I cannot do, no. You and me together, we got this thing down, and nothing we cannot do. No clouds in our way, no. And I'm living the good life. I'm living the good life now. I'm living the good life, and nothing can get me down, no. Life's got a way of pushing you, but we got the strength to push on through. 'Cause there's not a place that we can't see if we don't live what we believe.
Like I mentioned in the beginning, they met in London.
I left Australia to do a 2-year working visa. You were there to learn English, or
Yeah.
How'd that work out for you?
I think it's fine. Yeah.
became an English teacher. Has a master's in creative writing, so better grasp of the language than me.
It's you always find it funny when people, because I do have an accent, so people hear my accent and assume that it is Nick that does the writing for the job, for the blog, or at least that proofreads everything, but no, it's not the case. It's all me.
It's true.
We met in London.
Yeah, we were both working in a department store. Sort of, got chatting here and there, and it was, ended up, long story short, we managed to organise some weekends off at the same time, so we'd take short trips around Europe. Sort of, we both love travelling, so it just grew
Kind of
and grew and
escalated,
grew.
yeah.
From weekends to long weekends to weeks to fortnights to months.
Also because I think that's the time, and especially for me coming from Italy, in Italy most people are still used to the idea of a 2-week holiday or a 3-week holiday, when you've got your time off. The idea of, when I was growing up, hardly anybody did any long-term travel. I think you were the first one. Nick did spend 2 months in South America before moving to London. You were the very, very, very first person that I heard did that. And I was even thinking, how is that possible? It's going to cost so much. And, you know.
You just lower your standards.
But
Do things,
yeah.
Do things cheap.
Yeah. But, yeah, and I think being in London, it was like such a... We're talking about 2004, 2005. So it's been like lots of water under the bridge since then. We just got in touch with like so many people that were passing through, traveling, you know, backpacking around Europe, going to Southeast Asia, and I was just thinking like, I want to do that, you know, I want my life to be like that. Yeah. So I'm happy that we managed to.
And then I take it you don't have any kids.
No.
So that also makes it
Yeah.
easier. I'm not saying it's impossible
Not
to
yet.
travel with the kids, but still.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have any kids now, but we don't know what's going to happen in the future, and let's see, maybe we'll have this experience too.
When we come back in just a second, we are going to hear of an adventure in Malaysia. This episode is brought to you in part by Hotels25.com. It's a website that helps you find the best prices on hotels and guest houses and hostels around the world in one simple search.
Hotels25.com.
It took place it was about 10 years ago, a place called Taman Negara, which is a national park. I think Taman Negara actually means national park. So it's like national park. So it's like the OG Malaysian National Park. And it's like a jungle, like a rainforest area in the center of peninsular Malaysia. We went there because we wanted to experience the jungle, and you know, the best and easiest and cheapest, of course, way to do that, because back then we had like no money at all, was hiking independently to a refuge where you could stay overnight, and it was set up for wildlife watching. We've both always been into wildlife watching a lot, so we thought, okay, let's do this. It was very cheap, and we went to the park ranger's office and we said, you know, do we need a guide to do this? And they were like, no, it's very easy. Just follow the path. It's all marked. Very easy. How long does it take? 2 hours you're there. So we set off bright and early in the morning thinking,
at the crack of dawn and...
No, like about 10 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe, okay. I was just trying to paint a picture, and then, you slept in, and then you went there.
No, but you remember, it was only supposed to take 2 hours to get there. So we were like, why start early if we can take our time?
But you had a good map.
A good map that I think a 4-year-old drew.
Yeah, it was like one of those...
An A4 piece of paper with a squiggly black line on it.
Yeah. But the path was supposed to be marked.
Yeah. Okay, so we had our fantastic to-scale map. We head off I'm thinking we went the right direction straight up.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're walking into this trek a little while, and suddenly, Margie screams at me like, Nick, look out! Because I was looking in the trees for monkeys or birds or something of interest. I didn't realise that there was this rather nasty-looking bright red snake on the path, which
Yes.
It had its
God.
head raised, ready to strike. I don't know how I didn't step on it, but it was now in between us.
But you're from Australia. You're used to that. You're used to creeps and weird stuff going on.
Yeah, but I like to see them. So
Not see them on me.
Yeah, or
attacking
in
me.
between us, and if it was in a
threatening position.
Yeah. If it was in Australia, I'd probably be able to identify what snake it was and
Or not.
have a rough idea on its behaviour.
Yeah.
This one I had no idea, except it was bright red.
And normally in nature, red means danger.
Yeah. So I summed up my inner Steve Irwin and extended my tripod as long as it would go and sort of just
Pushed him off.
pushed him off the path, and he just happily slithered away into the undergrowth.
So we should have known that with a beginning like that, the day was not going to be, let's say, without events. So we kept hiking on what we thought was the right destination, and we had been warned by the rangers previous to our departure that we had to watch out for the weather, because before, like the place where we would sleep, it was necessary to cross a river, and it was about knee deep as it stood, and you know there's no bridge or anything, you just have to wade through. But if it would start to rain, then you would get there was the potential for the river to swell very fast, and maybe even become impossible to cross. So when it started to rain, we panicked and we were like, oh my goodness, we have to go. And so I think that's where we got lost.
Yeah, because we started running to try and make it to the river. And what we forgot to say earlier, that when they told us that the trail was marked, it's like, yes, it was marked. However, at this point in time, we didn't know what was going on. All the signs were on the ground, smashed to pieces.
Yes.
And we were not happy. We were who would do this sort of thing? Why would you do that? Putting people in danger.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'd run off, and we didn't realise that we had run off and deviated from our path and followed. We don't know if it was animal tracks or because there's still people that use the forest for hunting, so they've got their hunting trails. So we don't know if it was man or animal trail. Either way, it was not the one we were supposed to be on. So we ran until
we panicked.
The path that we were on just stopped.
Yeah.
And there was like a wall of brambles and spikes in front of us. And
you didn't bring the machete?
No,
we left that back at camp.
We had no machete. We had nothing. I mean, we had no map, no phone, no compass, no GPS. We had no idea.
We had a sense of adventure.
Dark. It was getting darker and darker and darker by the minute.
And you were still at this point on the wrong side of the river, right?
Yes.
And you needed to cross it before you couldn't cross it.
Yes.
And hopefully, and we, in these moments, like your imagination really start going into overdrive. So we were thinking, oh my God, maybe there's tigers here.
Yeah, we were imagining sleeping out, and there's tigers and there's elephants.
And you already saw the snake, so there might be more.
Yes.
He might bring the family.
Yeah, exactly. Extract revenge on us for poking him off the warm path. So anyway, we've turned around and thought, okay, we'll backtrack. We knew that there was another refuge closer that we would have already passed, so we thought we can try and aim for that one. And
because at that stage it was too dark to get back to the town.
Yeah. So we turned around and we think we're going back the same way. Lo and behold, there is this river in front of us. And it was still shallow. The rain had eased.
Yeah. Hadn't really impacted it.
And so we start cheering and because we did forget to mention at this point we're sort of 4 or 5 hours late. From our 2-hour journey. So
it was we were supposed to reach the place at 2, and it was 6, going into 7. So there was barely any light. It was well into dusk.
Yeah,
and when it gets dark, it gets dark.
Yes, it's proper dark, and then you hear
we were full of leeches, both of us.
Oh, I forgot the leeches.
Because I never had leeches before this experience. And at first I was terrified. I was like, oh my God, there's a leech on me. At the end of the day, leeches were the least of my worries.
No.
Yeah.
So you came across and then yay!
Cheering and screaming at the river. We looked over the other side, we saw some movement. This guy, his head popped up, and he's Englishman. Are you all right?
Would you like a cup of tea?
Maybe not. He's like, but are you all right? And we're like, yes, we are now.
Now we are.
And I forget his name, but he was a famous journalist that works a lot in the outdoors activities. So he was testing some tents that he was going to donate to the rangers of the park.
So you said, Dr. Livingstone, I presume.
Yeah. It was a moment like that, yeah.
But we had uttered that phrase so many times that day.
Yeah. But we found out that we were only 700 meters away from the original refuge that we were heading to.
Oh.
So somehow we had got there without knowing.
He was there with a ranger.
So they knew.
And we said, we were supposed to get to this refuge. Where is it? Can we make it? And they were like, yeah, it's just over there. You can almost see it. And it's like, yes, we love you, thank you. Oh, and which then we showed him, because we'd taken a picture of our little snaky friend.
Yeah.
We showed it to the ranger to get it identified, and he went, "Whoa, who's very bad."
Very bad, very bad.
So-
yes.
He still didn't tell us what it was called, but
But it was very,
very bad.
very bad. So I don't know if he wanted to make us feel like heroes that we'd survived this snake, or...
You slept well that night, I
Oh,
take
yes.
it.
We did.
Yeah.
We slept well, and the following day we didn't hike back. We went to the river and hitchhiked. The first passing boat, we said, "Get us, please, and take us back." In
And
one
that's when we
piece.
had a nice cold beer.
That was almost it for this episode. I'm working hard on the next episode of the regular travel show, and hopefully I will have that ready for you in a few days. That one is from Guinea-Bissau. Don't feel bad if you have no idea where that is. I didn't before I started planning to go there. Before I leave completely in this episode, I just want to remind you that if you book a hotel room through hotels25.com, you save time and money and support this podcast at the same time. So why not? The Radio Vagabond is a Radio Guru production. See more about what Radio Guru has to offer on radioguru.co.uk. And Margarita, please tell us how to find you.
Okay, so you can read our stories on our blog, thecrowdedplanet.com, or you can also find us on Instagram, and it's the_crowded_planet. So yeah, just 2 underscores between the 2 words. And finally on Facebook, also The Crowded Planet, and on Twitter we are a bit different, Margenic. But if you put The Crowded Planet, you'll see our nice faces, which of course...
I will put all the links in the show notes and on the website, so people can find you. And I take it that you have written a story about the day in the jungle in Malaysia.
Oh, yes, we have.
So I'll put a direct link to that story, because I'm sure I'm gonna read it, and I'm sure it's gonna be super entertaining. So nice to meet you guys.
Thank you so
you very
much.
much.
Thanks for having us. Cool.
My name is Palabo. See ya.